Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Hope you guys have been having a great weekend, a great Sunday afternoon. I got you an update on what is coming up this week in the weather world. It's not super busy, definitely nothing compared to kind of leading up to last week when ultimately what ended up happening Friday is what we were discussing all last week. But there is a couple threats for severe weather, including tomorrow and for your Tuesday. So we're going to talk about that. And then, there's a lot of areas of the country that could see a little bit of rain. And in general, it looks like we're going to start to warm up this coming week. So that's what we're going to break down. We're going to try to figure out what's going to happen with this severe weather. What's the level of severity we're going to reach? I don't think it's going to be that bad. I don't foresee any kind of tornado outbreak or anything like that. But it is something we need to talk about, especially in and around Dallas and points east. It definitely does look like there is a small-scale tornado threat tomorrow for you folks. So if you guys have not subscribed, definitely consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. It definitely goes a long way, guys, and I really appreciate y'all's ongoing support. Hit me up on social media. My links are over there. It's a great way to stay up to date, which with more quick and fast updates, and if you don't want to wait for the video and things like that. But if you got anything I can pray about, please put it in the comments below. It gives me an opportunity to pray over it. It gives others an opportunity to do so too. So let's get going here. And it's not going to be a long video. Guys, we're not going to be doing these 25, 30-minute videos. And really, there really isn't a massive event to talk about. We don't obviously have to do that when there isn't a huge storm to really latch onto. So not going to hold you up too long this Sunday evening. But here we go. This is for tomorrow. We got this slight risk up. That's level 2 out of 5. And really it's because of a wind threat and a tornado threat and a hail threat. But the tornado threat, it's little itty bitty right here just east of Dallas where some storms can really explode here, honestly. These could be some isolated supercells that really get going and then quickly kind of congeal to more consolidated storms and really lose that tornado risk to it. But briefly, when they explode, probably later tomorrow afternoon, evening, maybe even later, like by the time the sun goes down, these could be dangerous. So there is a smaller tornado threat for a very small area just east of Dallas tomorrow. We'll see if this pivots back and forth or increases. I doubt it will increase, but there is a pretty large slight risk for this entire area of northeast Texas, including even areas of Louisiana like Shreveport, Louisiana, and a small section of southwest Arkansas. And the marginal risk extends around it. So severe weather is expected tomorrow. So let's check out what is causing these multiple rounds of severe weather. It's really quickly. You just look at this. This is going to get cut off from the main flow where there's a jet riding up here in Canada and southern sections of Canada. This little upper level low, you can call it a cutoff low. I like to call these definitely a cutoff low because it literally looks something that is cut off from the mainstream. And just think of it as a low pressure that gets kind of lost and meanders up under a ridge. And you can see it. You see the oranges and the warmer colors building on top of it and around it. That is ridging actually building on top of a low pressure. And it gets lost from the mainstream of things. The jet's sitting up here. And what these cutoff lows can do is they can produce all kinds of weather. They can produce isolated below average temperatures. They can produce snow sometimes. They also can produce severe weather, which they will with this one. It can produce a little bit of heavy rain, all kinds of weather. Upper level lows are very dynamic and very interesting to track, but this one's not going to be nothing too crazy with it, just a couple rounds of severe weather expected. So let's go on and switch to the HRRR model and really see what could happen tomorrow across areas in northeast Texas. And really, we're getting into the 8 p.m., which is around 7 p.m. Central Standard Time frame tomorrow. And here you go. These storms kind of explode right here and in areas of southern Oklahoma and then northeast Texas around Dallas, but then they really get strong. Like you can look at the cell right here just east of Dallas, Texas. This is a cell that you'll watch. You see if there's any consistency, if this keeps popping up, but this could be a dangerous storm that forms just east of Dallas, Texas, late in the evening hours. By the time the sun goes down, this could produce a quick tornado. It could produce some large hail. We just have to watch how these forms. And then you watch this tail end down here where some isolated, somewhat discrete storms could form and produce a severe weather threat. Then you watch these storms in Louisiana also, but this will continue throughout the night, kind of, congeal into a line of storms and responses, cut off low, pivoting through. And then they'll lose some steam in the middle of the night, and then you get into the morning hours, and then there will even be a severe weather threat in southern sections of Mississippi tomorrow. So we just have to see how this evolves. I don't foresee any kind of massive tornado outbreak tomorrow, guys, but there is going to be the chance for an isolated tornado in and around, especially just east of Dallas. So we have to watch that out. We have to watch out for that. We look at the NAM, check out what the NAM is showing for the same time frame, and let's see if the NAM is all the way out to that, and it's not. But you can tell at the final frame of the NAM, which is around 7 p.m., you have some storms developing actually west of Dallas. But if you switch it, let's go to the latest NAM that is ran in full, and we're going through in time. Here's that cutoff low, and then it really explodes some storms, but it's not really discrete. It's almost like a Boeing line of storms. It really whips through northeast Texas and including Dallas-Fort Worth, and really doesn't show anything real discrete like the HRRR model does for the same time frame. But we watch for severe weather tomorrow for northeast Texas. There's going to be a large hail threat, an isolated tornado threat, and there's going to be the threat for damaging winds, as there always is with a tornado threat. Then we watch Tuesday. This is valid for Tuesday morning into Wednesday morning. A slight risk for for Florida, but we're not really in good range of this yet. In fact, this is the final range, the final frame of the latest long-range HRRR model, and which is for 2 p.m. Tuesday, and we're just not. It's showing some nasty weather in Texas for sure, especially a nasty looking line of storms starting to kind of move into the panhandle of Florida. But we're really not in the range of the more active part of the day, which is really pushing 3, 4, 5 p.m. So we don't really know how this is going to evolve fully on the short range models, and we'll find out a lot more here in the next 24 hours. But even with this, I don't foresee any kind of massive outbreak of severe weather, but it's definitely something we need to watch. And I'm sure there will probably be a 2 to 5% chance of a tornado risk hatched somewhere. We just don't know exactly where they're going to put it, but probably somewhere here in north central Texas. Why do I want to keep calling Florida Texas? And north central Florida, sorry guys, it looks like that I'm a little exhausted from all the videos I did last week. And it seems like this same thing happened at the beginning of 2 weeks ago too, when we had such an active February. And it took me a while to get back in the groove of things with these smaller videos. When you get to them bigger videos, you just have something to latch on to, and the words come out naturally and more fluently. But you see what I'm saying. It's going to be stormy weather for you folks, and even southern sections of Georgia, southern sections of Alabama, and then northern Florida, and probably in the entire state of Florida in general will have stormy weather to deal with Tuesday. When we look at the NAM, we're in range of the NAM. But it definitely doesn't latch on to the idea of anything too crazy. This is for 8 p.m. Tuesday. You have some storms in the peninsula of Florida, around Tampa, getting close to Orlando, but nothing too crazy popping up. You have some nasty storms out in the Gulf of Mexico, but they're really far away from land, so it's not really affecting anybody. So we have to figure out what these models are going to do once we get into about the 12 to 24 hours out from about right now and see what they're showing for this event in general. But for temperatures throughout the week, tomorrow we start to warm up. Everybody thaws out in the Ohio Valley and the Northeast, and really the only freezing temperatures is locked up to the far northern sections of the lower 48. So we're starting to warm up. Everybody 60s for the South, 50s for the Ohio Valley. Any kind of snow still left on the ground, it's going to completely melt, but I'm sure a lot of you folks did a lot of melting today. Low temperatures Tuesday morning, not bad at all. I mean, even for the Northeast, it doesn't even get below freezing for a lot of folks. And then we really start to warm up into Tuesday. You start to see widespread 60s and 70s in the Southeast. And in general, the only thing cooling it down in the Southeast is that upper level low, that cutoff low, which brings its own weather. It'll bring moisture, so it will keep that rain-cooled air in certain areas in the Southeast. But in and around it, you got the ridging. You got the temperatures above average, starting to get into the 60s in the Ohio Valley. You're pushing 60 in Chicago by the time you get to about Wednesday, and then your widespread 70s in the south central U.S., including Texas and Oklahoma. But you really start to warm up towards the end of the week. Then you watch for another front. I don't think this is going to be a big-time cold front, but you're getting into Friday and you're still warm. But we'll continue to watch how this is going to evolve. It looks like more March-type weather. As of you compare this to last week, we were dealing with well above average temperatures, and all of a sudden the Arctic front came through and absolutely shocked this system, and we're just now starting to recover. It actually turned out to be a nice day. It dropped down to 22 degrees here in my area in central South Carolina, but then we warmed well into the 50s, so it was a nice rebound today. But you look as far as precipitation, you'll be dealing with rain and moisture from this cutoff low down here over the next few days, probably all the way into your Wednesday, and then maybe even Thursday morning you're still dealing with it. Then it moves off the coast. Then we watch for this system right here. Will this produce any severe weather in Arkansas, the Mid-South at all? Is it going to produce some snow for Ohio and to Wisconsin? We're not sure yet, but there is a low pressure to watch. Is that basically a gradient sets up here with the jet kind of sets up a storm track that's active across the central U.S. But this is getting into Friday, so it's several days out. But we'll watch and see how that develops, and then we get pretty far out to the point where we're about 7 days out, so nothing's reliable. But that's pretty much all I got. I wouldn't say a calm week, but it's not going to be very active. I think the severe weather threat tomorrow will be very isolated. But you never know when you're in that isolated risk. So definitely be weather aware tomorrow in portions of northeast Texas, and especially if you're in and around Dallas Points East, especially, and around northern sections of Louisiana and then southern sections of Arkansas. Definitely be weather aware. That's all I got, guys. Y'all enjoy the rest of your evening and have a great start to your work week. I'll talk to y'all soon.